And everyone, Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another transfer update, and this time it's an outgoing transfer that headlines the show. Cheikhou Kouyate has taken the plunge and joined Crystal Palace. £9.5 million, raising to £11 million due to add-ons. I think this is a good move for everyone. Except for West Ham, to be honest with you. It's a good move for Cheikhou because he has a new challenge. He struggled a little bit in our team for the last couple of years. I was on TalkSport on Tuesday night, and I said that, it was Monday night, and I said that I wouldn't be too sad to see him go. It's a good move for Crystal Palace because they get the midfielder they want, obviously. I think we've shortchanged ourselves a little bit here. I'm not going to moan too much because obviously it's not my money and I don't really mind what transfer fees they take in. If that's the transfer fee they think is acceptable, then that's up to them. But in the day and age of high transfer fees and people going from Watford to Everton for 50 million quid, 11 million quid isn't really a lot of money. Now, Cheikhou came into the side under Sam Allardyce in 2014 for £7 million, and he was magnificent, to be quite honest with you. For the first 2 years he was absolutely outstanding. The last season under Allardyce and the first season under Bilic, the one at the Boleyn season, you know, he was one of our better players, and he was full of energy, full of drive. Went on these mazy little runs, and he is a good player. He can be a good player, can be unstoppable. Spurs came in with an £8 million bid for him the season after he joined, and apparently West Ham laughed them off of the phone. So that was a little rumour that was going around. I'm not sure whether that was true or not, but that was the rumour going around at the time. So we know he can be a good player, and is it a good idea to sell to our rivals? Now, comment in the comment section down below what you think, but I think £11 million a bit short. I think we could have held out for about 15 million for him, and I think we would have got that. Apparently there was talks of him going to Porto, and West Ham would have preferred him to go to Porto because they wanted to make a make-weight deal with another winger who I will mention in the show later. But lo and behold, Crystal Palace have got their man. As I said before, I think it's a good deal for Cheikhou. I think it's a good deal for Palace. I think we've shortchanged ourselves a little bit, but it was quite obvious from the Ipswich friendly the other day that he just doesn't fit into the ethos of Pellegrini and what he wants to do with West Ham. So, you know, rather than hold on to him, they've let him go. It does leave us a little bit short in that position, and we have struggled in that position over the last couple of years, and we've always wanted to sign a holding midfielder. We've needed to sign a holding midfielder, so you know, it is something that possibly we could see another. We've only got 8 days left now, so we might be working on something. I know there was a talk for a winger, which I'll talk about in a minute, as I said, but we need to get another holding midfielder. And that holding midfielder, maybe there's been interest in Danny Drinkwater. Now, he went to Chelsea from Leicester, obviously a Premier League winner at Leicester. He went to Chelsea with high regards. He was part of the England setup, you know, playing magnificently, and it hasn't quite worked out for him at Chelsea. There's a bit, well, I say a bit the same as Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek's been there for a youngster, but it hasn't really worked out for him in Chelsea, and it could be a possibility that, you know, he could be available. Now, if he's available, I think West Ham would be interested in him. I've heard his name banding around a little bit, perhaps on a loan deal. I think they'll be more interested in a loan deal than a permanent transfer at the moment. You know, for Danny as well, a London club, he doesn't have to really move anything if he wanted to spend a year at West Ham. So it could be, you know, the deal that suits all parties. So look out for that one. We'll keep our eyes on it in the next 8 days. Obviously, there's going to be massive movers and shakers in the transfer window. On the last day, there always is, you know what I mean. So we'll keep an eye out for that on the day. We'll probably do a live show on the Thursday for the transfer window. Talking about wingers, one of the transfer targets that West Ham have reportedly been looking at is Yanis Brahimi. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't really heard of him, to be quite honest with you. I've heard he's a good player. I've had a look at him on YouTube, but that doesn't tell you much. And we've had a bit of interest, and apparently it was Czech that was going to be a make weight in that deal. But they want something like, I think it's a 60 million, I don't know whether it's pound or euros, release clause. Now, we've spent a lot of money this transfer window, and I will be very, very shocked if anything of this weight comes out. Unless we can loan on view to buy, I can't see this one happening. And another Porto striker that we was interested in is Musa Mariga. Again, don't know nothing about him. £22 million. Are we a bit light on strikers? Yeah, we're going to be a bit light on strikers with Hernandez and Arnie, who is not really a recognised striker, as our only two options, with Carroll once again missing for a significant amount of time. So a striker would be probably something we would be looking at. Maybe Batshuayi. Obviously, there's a new manager there. Morata's on his way out, so Batshuayi could be off the cards. But if a new striker comes into Chelsea, Batshuayi could be an option again. Once again, we'll try about a 55th time for a loan deal for him, I'm sure. But yeah, Musa Mariga, I think that was his name. I can't see it myself. I think it'll be loans. As long as it isn't Jonathan Calleri, I'm not going to be too fussed. We've had a fantastic transfer window at the end of the day. The only thing that worries me about the transfer window is, of course, ours shuts in 8 days' time, and we're going to be scrambling to do deals before ours shuts. Europe shuts a month later, which we'll be talking about in a show in a couple of weeks' time. Once the transfer window's shut, is it going to be a problem for England? Because if that transfer window shuts and they decide to start selling to Europe, we're in a lot of trouble again. But no, thank you very much for joining us on this show. We'll be back next week with all the normal, back to basics, usual season programming as we kick off our Premier League season against Liverpool. So this week we're going to finish off with on the social Monday musings. We're going to have a musings which is going to be starting up again. Dan's going to do his West Ham week on Friday, and then next week we'll be back. Obviously the transfer window shutting, but we'll be back with the previews, with the the West Ham week, with the predicted lineup show. All of that's normal stuff. The fan cams next week, that is something I'm looking forward to getting back into outside Anfield, talking to the fans and seeing what they make of our transfer window and of course the game. And it's back to normal next week. So thank you very much for staying with us all summer, because I know it's been dribs and drabs content, with the World Cup on as well, and West Ham doing their transfer business a lot quicker than usual. It's been a bit slow, this transfer window, and we haven't been to a lot of pre-season games because we've been sorting a couple of things out. But next week, Premier League season starting again, and I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you very much for joining us. One thing left to say, come on you Irons.